The mushroom picking season is over here in Finland. But the fall and all the colors are still really inspiring, and you can actually make mushrooms all year around. So today I will make mushrooms to have outside in the garden. The clay I use is a stoneware clay, and I will burn it twice in a kiln. After that, they can stand outside. First of all, I wedge the clay, and then I make small round balls, and after that, start shaping them to become the mushrooms that I want. I make a cone shape just by rolling it against the surface, and I use a chipwood board. You can actually use a cloth or just a plain table too, if you want. Don't use plastic though, because the clay will just stick to it. Just a little bit of water on my fingers, and by rolling it like this, you get the shape you want. After that, it's time to start using my thumb and the rest of my fingers to get the right shape. Mushroom in Swedish is svamp, and in Finnish it's sieni. But the funny thing is, mushroom sounds a little bit like muskrum, and that would be a worm room. And I think that sounds like it could actually be something, because worms and maggots, they all love mushroom. So if you know anything about this, if it actually could be something, please let me know. Back to the clay now. The cap is now almost ready. I use a little bit of water, just a little bit on my fingers, and just by pulling the clay, I will get the cap the way I want it. The stem is a little bit too thick, so I will fix that. And this is also one way to do it. And remember, your surface is perfect for making it smooth. If you use air dry clay, it's really easy to paint it or glaze it afterwards. But if you use stoneware or earthenware clay, you will have a problem when you fire it in the kiln. Therefore, I will make a box to also burn at the same time in the kiln with the mushroom. Because the mushroom cannot touch the surface or anything else when you have glazing on top. It's time to start making the gills. I just use a wooden stick or a needle tool to do it. If you make big or thick pieces of clay and burn them in the kiln, you may have problems with them cracking or just exploding. So if you make something bigger than, let's say, 2 fingers thick, you need to make a small ventilation hole in it. But this mushroom is not that big, so it is okay. The first mushroom is almost done, and I will leave this one to dry for a while, so that the stem is hard enough to try to have standing in the box that I will make. Every time that you have spare clay, if you have some bigger projects, Making a mushroom is a perfect way to get rid of the clay and actually use it to something fun. So making a box for this is actually really good. You can use it many times. The second mushroom is going to be a small but thick one with a thick stem. I just use my thumb and my fingers to get the shape, and as always use the surface to get a smooth cap. Remember to turn the clay all the time, and you can actually use a lot of water to get it really smooth. This mushroom is much easier to burn in the kiln because I will flatten the surface so it can stand for itself. Therefore, it will be much easier to glaze and burn in the kiln. Again, some gills underneath, and this mushroom I will actually make a small ventilation hole in the bottom of it, just to be safe. When I'm happy with the shape, I will flatten the surface so that it can stand for itself, just by doing this. And after that, I will make the small ventilation hole. I measure how deep I can go with the wooden stick and just push a small hole into the stem. And that's it. These are now the mushrooms that I made. And as you can see, they have different long stems. Some are thick, some are thin. And as you understand, this will be a problem if I want to burn them, and I have to have them standing like this. So I figured that a box made of extra clay that I had could be the solution to the problem. So I first start by making this slab, cut away a little bit of the extra clay and make it even a little bit thinner than it is right now. By turning the clay many times, you get a perfect bottom. This box is not going to be a real masterpiece. I'm not really proud of what it looks like, but it will serve its purpose. I put the bottom aside for a while and start making the walls. I need many pieces of slab, and I just use a needle tool or a wooden stick to cut them into the sizes that I want. One thing that you have to remember is that clay actually shrinks when it dries and when you burn it in the kiln. And the same thing with the box. It's also made of clay, so it will also shrink. Therefore, I have to make the compartments big enough so that the stems can stand there by themselves without tipping over, and still not too small so they will stick. It's really easy to cut the slab with a needle tool, and you can actually use some slip to get the walls to fit together really well. Even though this box is kind of ugly, it is actually perfect for many different projects where you have to burn something standing up. Because, as I said, glazing, it will actually stick to the surface if it touches it. If you don't want to make a box, but you still want to glaze your mushrooms, there is another solution to the problem. You can make a small piece of slab that you have underneath your mushroom, and then you don't put glazing on the surface where it touches the slab. This way, if the glaze is a little bit runny, it only touches the piece of slab and it will not destroy your kiln. Of course, you will get a small spot on your mushroom without the glaze that you want. As you can see now, I am building the walls and these small compartments, and I will actually try them out with the mushroom in it. I fill up the box with these small walls to make the compartments, and they are different sizes, as you can see. I secure with a little piece of clay here and there to get some corners and actually make the holes a little bit smaller here and there. And this is just randomly done. This masterpiece is now almost done, and after this I will just let this dry together with the mushroom and actually try them out so that they don't touch, and then I will burn them in a bisque fire, and after that the glazing. I think this will be great. If you want to see what it actually looks like and if this works, check out the next video on this subject, coming really soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in part 2. Bye bye.